Hey guys, it's Mrs. Kleinley. I'm super excited to introduce you to this week's selection, which is Save Me a Seat, because I love this book. Save Me a Seat was co-authored by Sarah Weeks and Gita Varadarajan. In this book, we're introduced to two main characters. We meet Ravi, who is a boy who is in 5th grade, whose family just moved to New Jersey from India. And we also are introduced to Joe, who was born and raised in New Jersey. And Joe actually has something called audio processing disorder. So he struggles in environments where there's a lot of sound and a lot of background noise. Every other chapter is told from Joe's perspective, and then every other chapter is told from Ravi's perspective. So rather than just reading you the first chapter, this week I'm going to read you a little bit from our first chapter so you can hear Ravi's point of view, and then a little bit from our second chapter so you can hear Joe's point of view. So here we go. This is chapter 1, Ravi. Boys and girls, please welcome our new student, Ravi, Mrs. Beam says after she's taken roll call. He's come to us all the way from India. Isn't that exciting? Mrs. Beam is short and round. When she smiles, her eyebrows touch each other. As I look around the room, a sea of mostly white faces stares back at me. I feel a little nervous. It's my first day of 5th grade in room 506, and I'm the only Indian in my class. There is one other, a boy named Dylan Smiran, but he doesn't count. He's an ABCD, American-born confused Desi. Desi is the Hindi word for Indian. I can tell Dylan is an ABCD because he speaks and dresses like an American. Tell us something about yourself, Ravi, Mrs. Beam says, smiling at me. Yes, ma'am, I say, standing at attention. Everyone laughs. Mrs. Beam claps her hands. Boys and girls, where are your manners? She asks. Go on, Ravi. We're listening. I push up my glasses and continue. My name is Ravi, and I just shifted from Bangalore. Everyone laughs again. What's so funny, I wonder? Mrs. Beam claps her hands. Her eyebrows are twitching like mad. Boys and girls, is this how we welcome a new student to Albert Einstein? The room gets quiet. The spotlight is on me. I can feel the whole class staring. This is my first day of school in America, and things are not going well. Okay, now I'm going to switch and read you an excerpt from chapter 2, which is from Joe's perspective. Settle down and take your seats, announces Mrs. Beam, my new teacher. This is her first year teaching at Einstein, and she looks a lot younger than any of the other teachers I've had. She's shaped kind of funny, wider at the bottom than at the top, and she's shorter than me, which is weird considering she's my teacher. She seems nervous, and there's something freaky about her eyebrows. At Einstein, kids have to sit in alphabetical order. Every year since kindergarten, my seat has been right behind Dylan's. I know the back of his head by heart. Mrs. Beam has made name cards for us and put them on the desks, but when I go to take my seat behind Dylan, somebody's already sitting in it. He's a shrimpy-looking kid with thick glasses and greased-down black hair parted on the side. I've never seen him before. I'm not sure where he's from. His skin is darker than mine, but not as dark as Dylan or Caleb's. When I look at the card sitting on his desk, I see his name is about a mile long, full of Y's and A's. He seems kind of nervous, too. He keeps rubbing his nose and looking down at his hands, which are folded on his lap like he's in church or something. When Mrs. Beam asks him to tell the class about himself, he stands up like he's in the army and calls her ma'am, which is about the only word he said that you can actually understand. Everybody starts laughing for a minute. I think, hey, maybe 5th grade isn't going to be so bad after all. Maybe Dylan will decide to pick on this new kid with the weird name and the funny accent instead of me. So as you can imagine, these two boys' paths are going to cross, and they discover that they have quite a bit in common, even though at a first impression it doesn't seem like it at all. This book teaches us that you never know what's going on in other people's lives. Things are not always what they seem. I will tell you, just as a side note, I don't know a ton about Indian culture. And what I really appreciate that the authors did is at the back of the book is a glossary. So as you're hearing Ravi's point of view and he's talking about his culture and his story, when I came to a word that I wasn't familiar with, I could quickly glance in the back to find out like what the heck he's talking about, which really helped me to not only, learn about the Indian culture, but also to better understand the story.
So I cannot say enough good things about Save Me a Seat. If you are interested in this book, it is found in our realistic fiction section of our library under WEE for weeks. I hope you enjoy.